Welcome everybody, you are here on an episode of Higher Learning. I'm so happy to be back with you in the new year. We have some great things prepared for you that you are not going to want to miss. So sit back, relax, and get ready for this episode of Higher Learning.
Well, listen to the fine print, find what you missed. I'm just getting started.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Senator Van Pelt. I can't even explain how excited I am to have you and talk to you today. Before we get started on our tough questions, I want to get some information on who you are. What do you think is important for us to know about you and where you come from? Who is Senator Van Pelt?
Okay. Well, I've been in politics now for, this is my 7th year as a state senator. Before that, I ran for mayor. And before I ran for mayor, I was a social, did a lot of social activism work. Really went back to school to get my PhD because I wanted to be sure that I could identify the truth. I did not want to mobilize people around something that wasn't true. And because there were so many conflicting ideas about what was true at that time about schools and about crime and about economics. So I went back to school to get a PhD, and I studied social movements and what makes movements fail and what makes movements succeed. And out of that basically drove me into politics because I really realized that many of the laws that we have elected officials who put these laws in place to govern our lives. In many cases, those were actually causing more problems in our community than it would if we didn't even have the laws. So I went into public office because I wanted to find out what it is that we need to do so that we can get our fair share.
I kind of see something else as well. I heard, are you a pastor or preacher as well?
I'm an evangelist. I've been
Awesome.
preaching since 1982, and I love preaching. I mean, that's what I was really doing before I got into becoming a social, getting into social movements. Before then, I was preaching. I got into social movements because I saw that some of the people who were considered leaders in our communities were really misleaders. And as a minister and a Christian, I didn't know how to talk about that. Once I realized what was going on, I didn't know how to talk to the people that had come around, to work on the project we were working on. I didn't know how to tell them that these people who were considered to be leaders in the community were misleaders. I struggled with that because as a Christian, I thought, you cover your brother's sins, you don't expose them. And so I fought with myself through that process. And I went to take some training on how to do organizing, professional organizing. And that's when I understood that not only was I wrong about feeling uncomfortable about sharing the information or even knowing the information, I also was becoming a misleader myself by not telling what I knew. So that really slapped me in the face.
And you took action, though.
Right, because I knew I just couldn't keep preaching. I couldn't keep preaching and allow people to die all around me. People to be without jobs, the men in prison and the kids are truant and violence is just rolling out in our streets unabated. I just couldn't keep preaching about the love of Jesus Christ and ignore what was going on right outside my door.
Is there things that you kind of feel like are different about being a state senator than being a preacher? Or are there a lot of things that you feel like kind of they have in common?
They have some things in common.
Yeah.
Because I get a chance to really express what people are experiencing in the community on the Senate floor. Now that is, to me, is the greatest gift I have, that I can share with people that are sitting around the state and have no idea what's going on in West Garfield Park or, West Garfield Park or either South Lawndale, North Lawndale. They have no idea what's going on. I'm able to articulate the experiences of everyday people on that Senate floor, and that has made a difference.
A topic that I'm really excited to kind of talk to you about is this new marijuana legalization that's happening. And so it's something that I feel a lot of people are on one way or the other, and I kind of want to get your opinion on where you fall with the legalization of marijuana.
Okay, well, right now there are 30 states in the United States that have some form of legalization on their books, laws that legalize some form of marijuana, whether it's medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. 30 states in the United States. In fact, 60% of the representatives in the House of Representatives represent states that have some type of marijuana laws on their books. I mean, making it legal, medical marijuana or either recreational. So people are coming to understand the value of marijuana. And we were taught that marijuana was like the worst thing in the world, and you take that, you could go crazy, and you're gonna kill somebody, and all that, But in reality, the cannabis plant was very valuable to the people in the United States early on in our history. And not just from the marijuana side, where you actually get high, the psychoactive part, but the hemp side. The hemp side of the cannabis plant is very, very valuable. It actually, the first Bible that was ever written was written on hemp. And the Bill of Rights is written on hemp. And our forefathers grew hemp, which is cannabis. They grew it on their farms because there was so many different uses for it. You could make plastic out of it, you could make rope out of it, paper, medicine, cannabidiol oil, the oils for the stress, and there's so many different medicinal values that have been ignored just because part of the plant can get you high. I saw that it was a great opportunity for people to get help with stress, pain, and also migraines and being able to sleep, that all these benefits come out of the hemp plant. So why in the world would we waste our money and our bodies on taking all these medicines to take away those different illnesses when we could use a plant that's grown in God's own earth? And so therefore, I'm a supporter of it. And in fact, I used CBD oil, which comes from the hemp plant. You can also get it out of the marijuana side too. And because I had been having so much pain in my hips, I could barely walk. I actually sometimes needed some assistance in walking. And once I started using the CBD oil, the pain just went away. And so my mother had fibromyalgia, so I gave it to her. And she was able all of a sudden to start functioning and going out places, and she was feeling so good. My sister, who had problems in her hips and her arms, she can run now. So and it's from CBD oil.
So what do you say to those people that would say that this is something that you shouldn't be doing, or there are negatives to having this legalized?
Well, I've basically, I haven't ran into too many people who have said that. They may think it, but they don't say it to me, not too many. Some people have told me they're uncomfortable with it. They use it privately. They say, I'm a closet, because you can vape actually vape CBD oil. They say, I'm a closet vapor. So they're vaping, but they don't want anybody, ministers, they don't want anybody to know it. But I think that it's important, especially as a Christian, that we learn the truth and stand on it. I mean, the one thing Jesus when he came on the scene in the book of St. Mark, 2nd chapter, he said, repent and believe the gospel. In other words, believe the truth. You have the truth in your hand, but you don't believe it, because you can tell you don't believe it by how you're acting about it, right? So I think it's important for us to get down to the truth, and the truth, and use the truth to get us where we need to go. It's places we need to go. I don't need to be on a cane. I probably would be on a cane today if I didn't have access to the cannabis plant. So not only do I use it, I've invested in the stock. I'm teaching people how to buy stock in cannabis, because it's a great opportunity. It's going to be the biggest shift of wealth in our generation, and we need to be on the forefront of that.
Is there a time, you think, where we can really get people to kind of gather around and kind of talk about what else cannabis can do besides what we've heard?
Well, it's a lot in the news now, a lot written in print now about it. People are talking about it everywhere, so it's infiltrating into, many times the congregation is on board before the pastor is. So, so, and if they're having these experiences like I had, where they're being free from pain, then I've known a couple of people whose pastor told them they couldn't use it or even talk about it and remain as a minister in the church. And they told them before they let go of their healing, they will leave the church, because they know that that's wrong. What he's saying is wrong. They've done the research, they know, and they know how their body feels now and how it used to feel. And they refuse to, they don't mind submitting to the truth, but submitting to misconceptions is something different.
Okay, well, I want to get biblical with you because I was looking as well at some of the scriptures that people would throw at people who support it. And so what would you say to people that, would use the scripture of being sober-minded and, how defiling your temples is, something that we should draw away from? Would you say that those qualify within this case, or is that something that we kind of have over dramatized?
Well, I think when the Bible's talking about being sober-minded, it's talking about not being double-minded. Stick to the truth. I think that's what it means. Like, get on top of the truth and hold on to it. The marijuana plant, or the cannabis plant, has two sides, marijuana and hemp. I'm more into the hemp because the hemp is where a lot of the medicinal values are. Marijuana has medicinal values as well, but the hemp doesn't get you high. So I use hemp all the time because I do not want, I used to get high. I don't like the way it feels. I like to be in control. Yeah. And so therefore I use CBD oil, I vape it, I put it under my tongue, I rub it on my body. I use it in all different kinds of ways, and it doesn't get me high. It has no psychoactive properties in it. Now if I was to start smoking marijuana, that's a whole different picture for me, because I'm not saying that anybody else, I'm not judging anyone else on it, but I can't smoke marijuana because I don't like losing control. I don't even drink. So,
With the legalization, will it be on one specific thing, just the hemp, or will it be on both?
Right now, hemp is legal.
Hemp is legal, okay. Right. And so the marijuana portion is what we're kind of trying to get as well.
Medical marijuana is legal, but not recreational marijuana.
Okay.
But hemp is legal. In fact, the Farm Bill Act of 2018 made it very clear across the states that hemp is no longer considered a Schedule I drug. Marijuana is considered a Schedule I drug. So, but the hemp part is now, people can actually grow it and also distribute it without fear of federal government crackdowns. So, the medical marijuana, like I say, is legal in 30 states. It will be legal across the United States. It's not going to. People are not going to allow themselves to walk and be in pain and not get relief when they have a plant that does not get you high, but has medicinal value that they can use. Okay. Once people learn that, the stress is gone, the headaches are gone, the seizures are gone, all the symptoms like from when you're taking chemotherapy, the symptoms from that can be abated with CBD. They're not going to let anybody stop them from getting it. I'm under the impression that more people will want the hemp with the medicinal values and the ability to make paper and fuel and plastic and concrete. You can even make hempcrete, which is stronger than concrete. I think more people will want to use that portion of the plant more than the marijuana side of the plant, the part that gets you high. Because I think most people don't want to be high all day, but they want to feel good all day.
Yeah, so, I do. There are a lot of people who want to, and so I think there are also people who don't. But I think that, for us, it's a lot of people concerned about the small majority that maybe will be using it the other way.
Yeah, well, Jackie, keep in mind that they can get marijuana anytime they want to.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's not going to change anything, except for it no longer will be in the black market. It will be taxable, and it's not going to be in the black market. There are no medicinal values that I know of for alcohol. So, but yet alcohol is legal and it kills the liver. And it causes DTs and delirious trembles and all kinds of, it disrupts the body, the natural flow of the body. Marijuana doesn't do that. They haven't found anything in marijuana that just says that, that it's destroying any of the organs at all. And it grows out of the ground. It's not something that's being made somewhere, So really, when you think about it, the value of it, I think if we were to exchange something, we should get rid of the alcohol and allow marijuana to be what's legal and make alcohol illegal since it makes people sick, and smoking kills the lungs. That doesn't happen with hemp or with marijuana.
Anything else going on with your events or some elections coming up or things we should be in the know about?
Yeah, well, all kids, I believe, need to have an attorney if they're being interrogated by the police. And right now, that's not the case. A child can waive his rights to an attorney. He cannot waive his rights to his mother signing for him to go on a trip to Lincoln Park Zoo. He cannot enter into a contract, to buy anything. Books or anything. He cannot get a credit card. He cannot buy cigarettes. He's a child. He's 13 years old. But when it comes to him being interrogated by police, he can waive his rights. And that shouldn't be, because what happens in those rooms is that the kids they see the police as an authority, and when they're told, and their parents can't even be in the room, that you want to go and tell us the truth, you can just waive your rights, and they're waiving rights not knowing what that means. How in the world would they even know what that means? It's impossible for them to know what that means, because their mind is not developed enough to know that you can end up in prison for the rest of your life by what you say. So we are here in Cook County, are the false confession capital of the whole nation. There's no other county in this nation where more people have been exonerated because they signed a confession that wasn't true, because they felt like that was the only way they were going to get to go home. They can tell the child, once you sign this, you're going to be able to go home. They can lie to them.
Wow.
And it's legal.
And this is something that most people know about? Do you feel a lot of people have been kind of naive to it?
I don't think they know about it. And that's one of the reasons why I've gotten the age raised up to, I think, 14 now. Because when I came in originally, it was like 10 or 11. I got it up to 14. I'm trying to get it up to 16, and then all kids. But it's a struggle, because the police don't want it. They don't want attorneys in there, and the state's attorneys don't want attorneys in there. They want to have free course with the kids. But they feel like if they had an attorney, they might not get they might not be able to solve the cases. But I mean, they're only solving like 9% of the cases anyway in the whole city, 9%. So if you're only solving 9%, let the kids go, okay? Yeah. Let the kids get an attorney.
Absolutely.
Because it's like taking candy from a kid. You can do that easily, but it doesn't mean that it's right.
Correct. Yeah.
So those are the major things. Then just making sure that we are speaking on the things that concern the people in the community. So those are the things that I'm working on. It's primary for me right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing that above and beyond. So I'm so grateful for your service, and thank you for continuing to do things that are needed in the community, especially as an evangelist. This is something that I think more people should start doing as well, to start sticking up for the community. So Thank you for coming, and I look forward to all the great things that you're going to be doing in the future.
Okay.
All right.
Looking forward to coming back and talking to you about it again.
Absolutely, yes. Well, guys, we've heard a lot of great information, and I hope you've learned some things today, maybe some things that you didn't know and some things that you're going to look into further, because that's what this show is about, higher learning. It's about you getting information and deciding for yourself right from wrong. So always remember, stay informed and do your own research. This is Jackie, the Educator, and you have been watching Higher Learning.